Hi, everybody. Welcome to Square Off. This is going to be quite a program, I guarantee it. This is the week that ended the season for the Baltimore Ravens and for the 18 years of John Harbaugh as head coach. Let's quickly meet your panel.
I'm Billy Murphy.
I'm Adam Wood.
I'm Sheila Dixon.
And I'm Jimmy Mathis.
And I'm Richard Sher. Welcome to Square Off. We'll get to the ICE agents shootings coming up in just a few moments. While the Baltimore Ravens are looking for a new head coach, interviews are already set. Billy, what do you think about what's happened with the Ravens and with John Harbaugh?
I think that John may have lost the locker room. Too much of a good thing can become a bad thing. And he has had a magnificent run for 18 years. He's going to get another coaching job overnight, maybe,
Sure.
because everybody in the world's going to be looking at him because he's the highest quality coach on the market. I've always respected him, but I think sometimes you reach your limit of effectiveness and it's time to make a change. And I think the way that it was handled was extraordinarily graceful, despite the rumors that nobody told John before the public found out and before his staff found out. I think that was unfortunate, but all is well.
Jimmy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to kind of echo what Billy just said. I mean, you're looking at a Hall of Fame coach that has had really an incredible track record here in Baltimore. Whether he lost the control of the locker room or Lamar Jackson specifically, I don't know. I mean, the guy's won us a Super Bowl. He's been to, championship games, AFC playoff games, God knows how many times. Obviously, they've stumbled over the last couple years. This is a team on paper this year that could choke a hippo. So I understand the frustration with the city. I think it's unfair to put all this on loop in that final missed field goal. This is a team that was 1-5 coming out of the gate. So there's enough blame to go around.
Right.
Look, I'm a Lamar Jackson fan. I really am. But there is something going on with this kid beyond football-related injuries. And I think that's going to be the Achilles heel of this team as they move into next year.
Sheila.
So here's my perspective. I think that the team and the makeup with Henry and various players that came on board over the last year and a half, 2 years, this was the team to take us over the line and to really see some great success, to get in the playoffs, potentially even make it to the Super Bowl. And I think that was one of the huge contributing factors. You have the makeup of the team. I don't blame it all on Harbaugh. I think that it seems like, I don't know, I'm so used to the old Ravens, Ray Lewis and them, and Ed Reed, they were a whole kind of different group of individuals.
Right.
And I'm not sure whether or not the real focus of the team was always on football and their contract. I mean, that's just my perspective. I'm like the words to do an assessment.
Go ahead, Adam.
Look, when you've got a team like this and you can't win, you've just got to do something different. And that seems like what they're doing.
Richard, just real quick, I had the privilege for well over a decade being embedded with the Washington Redskins back when they were called the Washington Redskins, and that was a team that consistently went through quarterback turnover, and you saw quarterback controversies in the locker room. And I really believe that when I say the Ravens, I don't know if this was Coach Harbaugh or Bisciotti, but they would have rather lost that game. I'm not saying Lamar lost it, but they would have had rather lost that final game with Lamar at the helm than winning it with Huntley. And God forbid he continues to win playoff games and even go to the Super Bowl, and to have that quarterback controversy in a locker room. Because I had a front row seat to that over and over. I was with that team. I was on their plane. I traveled with them. And it really is cancerous to an NFL organization. And I do believe that was a factor in this. And it may have been part of Harbaugh's demise at the end.
Right. We're going to move on.
Well, one way to look at it, a different way to look at it is that there are different standards when you are aiming for a Super Bowl. And being a bridesmaid consistently is just not satisfactory. And so that may have contributed greatly to the change. And I listened to Mike Preston's comments, and I think Mike had probably the greatest access to the players because the players trust him.
All right, we're going to move on, Billy.
He says that the coach didn't lose the locker room that was not true.
All right.
So
So we wish
bad.
John Harbaugh a lot of luck. He'll certainly have a job. Who knows? By the end of this week, he's a very
Oh
popular,
yeah, he'll have a job.
respected guy. All right.
Great paying job.
We need to go. President Trump is making so many moves that even prominent Republican lawmakers are now publicly disagreeing with him regarding his renewed annexation threats against Greenland in the wake of the Venezuelan intervention and the killing of a 37-year-old Minneapolis mother by ICE agents and the shooting of two other border agents shot by border agents in Portland, Oregon. The Trump administration has completely supported the agent here and said the shooting was justified. Jump in here, Jimmy Mathis.
Look, I mean, Trump has made it a signature initiative going back to 2016 that immigration was going to be his number one priority. He's been elected to office twice on this now. The majority of Americans believe that we need to get immigration under control, especially going after the bad players. That specific case, honestly, it's hard to adjudicate this looking at a videotape. We do know that she was following ICE agents around. She was trying to be disruptive. She was not listening to police orders. Depending on how you view the tape, using the car as a battering ram, you don't do that when you're trying to interfere with a law enforcement operation. As far as Trump continuing to double down on immigration, the reality is the majority of Americans agree with this.
Okay.
Yeah, but on the immigration piece, why can't, and this has been going on forever, let's fix the system and process. You just can't get rid of good people. Hey, I understand about gangs and all, but give me a freaking break. Let the legislators, let the Congress and the Senate come up with the right kind of legislation needed to deal with immigration. The U.S. has been a melting pot. We're not like China and Russia. And this dictatorship that he has is unreal. Now on the shooting of the woman, looking at the video, it was wrong. First of all, the officer that came to her car and tried to stop her, and then she took off and drove around, he and the other officer backed off. It was the officer that was farthest away from her that shot her. So why did they back off of the car?
Adam.
Well, that's what they're supposed to do.
Right.
They're not supposed to apply capital punishment under these circumstances. And they shot her through the passenger side window.
And Billy,
when has that ever been right?
And you're not supposed to follow law enforcement agents around state to state interfering with what they're doing. But Sheila, to your point, all right,
it's a free country. She wasn't interfering. She was demonstrating.
Hold it, everybody. One at a time.
To your point, Sheila. Right now, we legally citizenize roughly 1 million people per year. So we are a melting pot. We are also a nation of law and order. And we have had an open door policy ever since I have been alive. Reagan tried to deal with this in the mid-'80s, was unsuccessful. It's the exact same conversation we're having today. Border security, their amnesty today, border security tomorrow. The border security never came. This is 4 decades of this. Also, everybody likes to romanticize what Ellis Island and the melting pot. We also, during those times, shut the spigot off for long periods of time to allow for assimilation. We knew who was coming into this country. We did not have an open door policy. We did not have a flood from one nation. These are all things that Trump is finally addressing that have been put on the back burner for decades.
All right, Adam, it's your turn. I know you were nodding in agreement with Jimmy.
Well, first off, I mean, my mother was in law enforcement. Look, they have specific rules of engagement. This police officer clearly thought his life was in danger, or he wouldn't have applied lethal force. This woman was clearly harassing ICE agents, was in the middle, not on the side of an ICE operation, drove into the middle of an ICE operation. You are just getting yourself into trouble when you do that. But I will agree with Sheila on one thing. Is if you disagree with our immigration policies, the place to disagree with it is not in the middle of a law enforcement action. The place to disagree with it is in Congress, is to call your congressman. And
no, it can be the streets too.
It can be the streets too. But if it is the streets, then you need to practice civil disobedience. And civil disobedience is peaceful. If you want to follow in the vein of Rosa Parks and Martin Luther King, you need to practice peaceful civil disobedience. That is not almost running over a federal law enforcement agency.
Okay, so
You
what
can't
happened
shoot through a
January the
passenger
6th?
side
So
window.
look at January the 6th. Was that justifiable? What those individuals
I don't know why
did?
that's relevant.
No, it is relevant because
No,
it was
it's a completely
wrong
different
in what
subject.
it is and it is
It's
not.
a completely different
Because,
subject that has
yeah,
nothing to do
because
with this.
when people say to be obedient to police, were they obedient when they went and rioted and tore up?
I don't know why I have to defend
I'm
something
just
that has
saying
nothing to do
that
with
should
this.
not have happened. So
All right, Sheila.
to me, it's apples and apples.
Well, let me
The bottom
make
line
a
is
different
even
point.
the ICE agents are not like regular officers. They get
They're federal law
3 week,
enforcement
6
agents.
week
Federal law
training.
enforcement agents.
They,
No,
yeah,
Sheila,
they don't
they're
get the
military.
same
Guys,
kind of training.
Let
They
me
don't get the same
make
kind
a
of training.
different
Hold on.
point, Richard. Richard, let
We
me make a
must
different
keep
point.
order, not jump in and kill each
We're
other.
orderly.
We had
It is orderly.
everybody seems to be forgetting
What?
that for the first time since we've had an immigration dispute of significance, the House and the Senate came together about a year ago with a bipartisan solution to the immigration problem. Trump told the Republicans to back off. Why'd he do that? It
Because
wasn't
that's
because the
Well,
bill was
because-
bad.
the
It
bill.
was
I can
because
speak to this.
he
I can
wanted
speak
to
to
do
this.
some stuff.
Hold
And
it,
he
Jimmy and
wanted to
Adam.
do
because
some lawless stuff.
Hold it, Jimmy and Adam. Wait, Billy,
Yeah.
briefly finish your point.
Well, I did.
You did?
Yes.
All right, let me say this. Trump critics are saying there are many issues in the United States that need the attention of President Trump. Yet he is fixated on Venezuelan oil, acquiring Greenland, withdrawing from 66 international organizations, and further White House changes. This time he's attacking the West Wing. What do you think of all of this?
Where do you want to start? First of all, the sanctions in Venezuela, okay, were put in place by Biden. This whole thing when he needed to declare war is a total fallacy. We've had a declaration of war 11 times, 6 of which were during World War II. The other one was the War of 1812 and the Spanish-American War. There was no declaration of war in Bosnia, in Kosovo, in Vietnam, in North Korea, in Iraq. So he was well within his constitutional right to do that. I'm trying to figure out if Trump is a dictator or he's taken out dictators. As far as Greenland goes, I think that is being grossly over exaggerated. He has talked about the military significance of Greenland for years now, having some military presence in the Arctic, where it's absolutely crucial when it comes to Russia and China, who are already there. There are navigational shipping channels that are opening up because of the polar ice caps melting. And everybody wants to portray this guy as an idiot. And it's getting a little bit old. If you want to have an intelligent conversation about any of these things, I'm willing to do it. But just to throw hand grenades in rabbit holes when he's acting a fool is completely disingenuous.
Guys, you guys
Well,
are
then
great.
let's talk about his invasion of Venezuela.
Go ahead.
It's dumb because he's not going to be able to run that country. The country is corrupt as hell from top to bottom. There's no infrastructure. Even the oil companies themselves are not excited about the move that he made. And so let him do what we did in Afghanistan. That's smart.
This is
let
not
him do what we did in Iraq. That's smart. And so we got to be real careful about celebrating like we did when Bush was doing the same thing. And we've got to look very carefully and rationally at whether or not this is a smart decision. Put aside whether he had the right to do it. He may have, but it wasn't smart. And it's not smart because he can't, and nobody we put in there can run Venezuela in a civilized way.
Billy, first of all,
It's not smart. Well, but the bottom line is he wants to. He can't be, but he wants to be a dictator. And this is his move to try to challenge Russia and China. He's meeting, I believe, with the oil companies coming up. Let's see how that goes. But, the bottom line is he's in la-la land. And I'm not going to call him stupid, but his terminology and his language that he uses really is questionable about how intelligent this man is and how evil and vindictive that he really is.
All right, Jimmy, this is not your show. All of it is not your show. Adam, I saw you smiling.
So
when,
a couple things. One, I think it's hilarious that people keep trying to attach the title of dictator to him. He's in his sixth year of governing. If he wanted to be a dictator, he probably would have taken a little more power by now. I've never seen a dictator that was reducing the size of government like this before. It's really crazy in the course of history. But when we're talking about Venezuela, just specifically when we're talking about Venezuela, and I'm about as non-interventionist as any Republican that you'll ever meet. I worked for Ron Paul back in '08. I don't like invading other countries. This was not an invasion. This was a police action. And this guy was a bad guy. As Jimmy pointed out, this indictment came in the Biden administration. And to be clear, we're not talking about somebody that's sending marijuana into the country. We're not talking about, and I know some of the charges are based on cocaine, but we're not even talking about cocaine. We're not talking about some kind of product that may be illicit, but some people actually want. We're talking about fentanyl. Okay, this isn't even a drug. This is a chemical weapon. Little granules can make you just overdose immediately. I don't even know what the recreational use of this is. The purpose of this, to be clear, is the precursors come from China. So this is not speculation. The genesis was in China. These are chemical weapons intended to kill us.
Where is there evidence that
war.
they were shipping fentanyl? That's not the path for fentanyl. Fentanyl is coming into the country mainly from Mexico and mainly directly from China.
There are many
so I don't see the fentanyl.
Venezuela was definitely trafficking.
Second, if you are ignoring and not taking seriously what Trump himself has said about whether this is a takeover of the country. He says we're going to run Venezuela.
He says we're going to have elections.
Right. He said
No, he said he's going.
He said he's gone back and forth. He's gone back and forth.
I
don't think he knows what the path forward is now that he's taken over a broken, failed state. You just can't walk in and take over somebody's country and be successful.
All right, ladies and gentlemen,
since he said that, but
hold
also
on, Sheila.
Since he talked
We're
about
gonna
taking it
hold
over
it,
because of the drugs,
Sheila.
he hasn't even discussed that. What's the
Sheila.
strategy? It's all been about the oil. Come on.
Here's what we're going to do. We're going to stop for just a few moments to hear from Howard Mallison, the voice of Squaroff. We'll pick this up exactly where we left off. Howard.
Thank you, Richard. You know, Pappas restaurants and sports bars are synonymous with the best crab cake you will ever taste. But there's lots more to the Pappas menu, a whole host of specialty dishes you won't find anywhere else. So for fine dining, special occasions, or just watching sports, Pappas should be your number one choice. That's why Oprah put the Pappas crab cake on her list of favorite things. Pappas ships their crab cakes all over the country with 4 locations: Parkville, Cockeysville, Glen Burnie, and Bel Air. I guarantee you'll become a Pappas regular. You know, if you or your family members experience personal injury, medical malpractice, or nursing home neglect, it's time to call the law firm of Barry Glazer. He has the legal team and resources to go after big insurance companies to get you every penny he can. With an in-house medical doctor and nurse, his attorneys work on the toughest and most complex medical malpractice cases. So Barry Glazer is your best advocate for the injured, disabled, and medically abused. So give Barry Glazer a call at 410-547-8568. Let him know you heard about him on Square Off. And finally, if you are experiencing any kind of foot pain that requires medical attention, I recommend Dr. Kelly Gagan, a well-respected board-certified podiatrist and heel specialist. No one is immune from foot problems. Also, if your concern is the appearance of your feet, Dr. Gagan has a long record of success using laser treatments to correct your issue. Plus, they're safe, painless, and go to the root of the problem. So give her a call. Don't suffer from the agony of defeat. Start winning with a call from Dr. Gagan at 410-753-4422 to set up an appointment. Once again, that's 410-753-4422. Now back to you, Richard.
All right, as we say, Dr. Gagan is terrific. Get it, Billy?
I heard you.
All right.
But we haven't finished one of the topics. One of
I
the
know.
topics was that
We're not talking about
Trump withdrew from all of these international agreements that he's
66.
never read. He doesn't know what these agreements stood for. He doesn't know the collaboration that resulted from having these kinds of agreements. These agreements are fundamentally for dialogue of a constant nature
You know what, Billy?
between us and the people who admire and respect us.
No, Billy, there's been a common theme through a lot of these agreements, and this is Trump's issue on all of them. This goes back to his first term. It's America second. Most of these agreements put other countries first. We operate at a disadvantage.
You haven't read these agreements?
Which is exactly what the issue was in the free trade. I'll tell you, Billy, I don't agree with this tariff thing. I really don't. I've been outspoken about it. But I understand what he's trying to... And I do. And I've been outspoken about that. But we have been operating at a trade deficit, okay, through NAFTA, through the TPP. And what Trump is doing is putting America first. And I understand that really pisses off liberals. I get that. But that's his thing on these 60-plus agreements that he's talking about, is America is always coming in second and third when it comes to priority in these agreements.
You haven't read one of these agreements.
If I can echo what Jimmy said, because I did work on foreign policy when I worked on the Hill for a while, and what they would tell you, what the State Department people would tell you, is that a lot of these trade deals, a lot of these agreements, we did purposely put ourselves at a disadvantage because we were in a post-Cold War mentality where we wanted to project soft power. We were purposely putting ourselves at a disadvantage so that we could be put ourselves in a favorable light with all these other countries. That doesn't work anymore. We're in a new era, and that's absolutely Trump's priority, is to renegotiate all of these trade deals, all of these agreements, to where it actually benefits us. And if it doesn't benefit us, then why are we even involved? Because
my answer is that everybody's forgetting on the Republican side that you're dealing with an incredibly immoral human being who is a narcissist, who is a malignant narcissist, and who does not have empathy at all.
But that's not really an argument.
He does not, hold it, I'm not finished. He does not carefully calculate the consequences of his behavior.
You're making an assumption.
And no, I'm not. I've watched Trump for 6 years, just like you have. There's no assumption there. And so you give him blanket carte blanche, despite the fact that he's one of the most horrible human beings who has ever held public office anywhere, anytime. You wouldn't want your child to be like him.
No, just if I disagree with Trump, it'll be substantive. It won't be that
humble. I want to make a point that Jimmy mentioned about America first. Our infrastructure here is not even built in a way that we can even handle everything that's going on in the world. We eliminate and get rid of the Department of Education and divide up agencies within that area to different other agencies. That's basic and fundamental. You want America first, and you're not even going to educate. Come on, women. You're not even going to educate.
No.
Why do you think other countries are so advanced than we are? Because they even in dictatorship countries, they put their people first to make sure they have the skill set.
Once again, a completely unrelated topic.
I agree with Sheila.
No.
Come
What he was talking about with the Department of Education was getting rid of the federal oversight, the federal control, and nothing to do with funding. They were going to block. They were going to block grant the money. Ever heard of the 10th Amendment? They were going to block grant the money to the states to allow states to have more sovereignty over education, which has been a disaster across this country, especially in this state where you have $23,000 per pupil being allocated, and they wanted to be.
And so he's running every scientist out of this country, Jimmy. He's running every scientist out of this country. He's destroying research of all kinds. He is making America a second-class science-oriented country. He's giving China and Russia all the advantages. These scientists are working for our benefit. And we are making this a hostile place for them. They're all going to Europe, and nobody seems to care.
They're all going to
There's
be
an
doing it.
anti-intellectual part of Trump that you are following like a dog follows a bone.
Can I just point something out really quick?
Yes, you can, please.
This is the second time that we've veered off into a completely unrelated topic.
Well,
What
but
does
it
the
is
not
Department of
unrelated.
Education
It's all
have
related.
anything to do with international agreements?
Oh,
It
come
doesn't
on,
have
give me a
anything to
break.
do with it.
Look.
No,
We
when
are
we talk about America
going
first,
it alone
I'm just kind of bringing it to
in
some
the world
basic fundamental
with
facts.
the
And I
madman.
get it. I used to do international business.
So all we've done is deflect and
No,
ad
I had
hominem
not.
attacks at the
I'm trying to
president.
make it
That's it.
related.
Hey,
Connect the
look,
dots.
I'm not lying.
No,
I'm
you're
telling
just
the truth.
assuming.
All right, ladies and
Look,
gentlemen.
have we run our scientists away from America? Have
No.
we shut down important research? Absolutely, we have.
We're still the
And
shining
And if you
city
think
on the
that
hill when
that's
it
not
comes
the
to
case,
research.
you just simply haven't been paying attention.
Want to talk about January 6th?
Oh, God,
When
really?
we return.
We already did. We already covered that.
Yeah, we've done this for
We've
like
already
6
done that.
years now. Like,
Yeah, we've already done that. Seriously.
Well, hey, unless you got lion eyes, Trump has legitimized that
let's talk about the
assault
BLM riot.
on our democracy. Now, you can laugh all you want, but it's the craziest thing in the world for him to let all of those people who were justifiably, based on evidence, convicted of the felonies that we saw with our own eyes.
So
It
can
was
I
civil-
address
it was
can I
civil
address that right
disobedience,
there?
Billy.
Can I address that right there?
It was civil
Okay, so
disobedience.
were there people that were bad actors on January 6th? Absolutely. I've been a part of a number of protests, and I know that people's IQs get slashed in half when they're in part of that group. People do stupid things. I wouldn't try and justify it for a second. Some of those people did bad things. You should not assault police officers. Just like that woman in Minnesota shouldn't have done what she did. I will not justify it for a second. But you know who is responsible for those people going free?
Oh,
Merrick Garland. He is responsible because the only option that the Trump administration had was to pardon everybody across the board because Merrick Garland clearly waged a political witch hunt against everybody that was at that protest that day, whether they did something bad or not.
Wrap it,
He
Adam.
poisoned the well.
No,
Well,
he did
I'm
not
sorry.
poison the
When
well.
did you go to law
The people
school?
that
Number
rioted.
two, all of these
Hold it.
people were convicted by juries of their peers.
Hey, guys.
And after hearing from both sides, everyone had a chance to defend him or herself, and the process was legitimate. And
No, it
all of a
wasn't.
sudden, you are on Trump's side that none of this was legitimate? Give me a break.
Five people
Would
died.
everyone stop talking? Thank the Lord. Thank you. Thank you. I was teasing. It's a term in broadcasting where I said, we'll talk about January 6th after Howard, but then you took off on it. We're going to run out of time and our sponsors are going to cancel and I'm going to be ticked.
What-
I am
well,
going to be ticked.
Well,
So
you can do
here's
this.
Howard.
You can do the sponsors at the end.
Oh, thank
Then
you,
people will
Sheila.
remember them.
Sheila, take my gavel and I'll be seeing you. Go ahead, Howard.
Thank you, Richard. There's so many cars on the road and distracted drivers everywhere. Auto accidents will happen. And if you've experienced an accident, the insurance companies can't tell you where to take your car. That's why more and more drivers are trusting their auto repairs and maintenance to leading edge auto body and mechanical repair. They work on all makes and models and offer free pickup and delivery anywhere in the Baltimore area. So give them a call at 410-443-6433 or visit them at 5807 Falls Road in Mount Washington. They make your car look and run like new again. And then I want to talk about the Double T Diners, because for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, your choice for a great meal starts at the Double T Diner, and all the menu choices are served the entire day. The Double T Diner has locations all over town: Route 40 West, Perry Hall, White Marsh, Bel Air, Laurel, Annapolis, Pasadena, and the EC Diner in Ellicott City. You've never seen a menu with so many selections. It's why the Double T Diner wins so many reader polls. Plus, Monday nights are lobster night at By the Docks, part of the Double T family. Let them know you heard about them on Square Off. And back to you, Rich.
Now, before you all jump in, it was this past Tuesday, marked the 5th year since the Capitol was breached. 5 people died. More than 140 law enforcement officers were injured by the angry mob. Many of the rioters were hurt. On January 20th, 2025, President Trump issued pardons and commutations for more than 1,500 of these individuals previously convicted, as Billy mentioned, of the charges related to the January 6th attack. On your mark, get set, go.
I thought we just did this. Seriously. I'm not joking.
No, we didn't
I thought we
finish.
just covered
Well,
everything as to cover on this.
We
If
didn't
I can,
finish.
Democrats have just basically used this as an issue to just beat up Republicans again and again and again. And it's
No,
5
we
years
gave
later.
we had
It's
a
5 years
lengthy
later.
hearing.
It's a dead
Hold
topic.
on. We had a lengthy hearing. in
One
time.
at a time.
All of the evidence that about this matter was shown to the American people. It was a magnificent display of research. It was a magnificent display of sober analysis. And it looks like none of you were impressed with any of it. Except
I'd
Sheila and I.
like to
Adam
know
and
why
Jimmy,
the Democrats
would you
don't have the
agree
same
that those
diligence
people
with the
were
BLM
wrong?
riots.
Would you agree that they were wrong in the rioting on
Yeah,
January the 6th?
Sheila,
Or would you
Sheila did.
support? Trump
Sheila,
put out a
I-
positive statement on January 6th.
Trump also said on January 6th that everybody should be peaceful and respect law enforcement.
Oh,
wow.
yeah, after
Yeah.
3 or 4 hours of rioting,
Right.
and somebody had to push him to say it, and you know, because the reporting was accurate, that he didn't want
The
to say
reporting was
that.
not accurate. Did you see the BBC how they basically sliced two quotes together that were like an hour apart? It's ridiculous. The
The
reporting
fact
meant
is
nothing,
that he
but-
was urged to tell the rioters to stop for 4 hours, and he did not do it.
He did. I saw it on Twitter.
Oh, at the end.
As it happened, I remember it.
Oh, yeah, and everybody was watching Twitter. Oh, yeah, a great way to do it.
Well,
I mean,
let's.
what was he supposed to do? Issue a national alert and like?
Yes,
No,
he
he
was
should've
supposed
gone
to
on
get out
national
there
news. He
and
should've
led
He was
the
giving a
withdrawal.
speech. He was giving a speech at the Lincoln Monument. Like, what was he supposed
I
to do?
can't
Like, of
believe
course.
you're defending him. I
He
can't
should have
believe it.
stopped what he was doing and tell those riders to stop. Give
And
me
he
a break.
didn't want to
Everybody
do
did.
it.
No.
And if he had wanted to do it, he would have jumped right up
told
on that
them to
podium
be
and
peaceful.
had a national statement to everybody who could hear.
So
he
he's
would have
responsible
spread the
for
word
every
with
protest that
megaphones
ever
and this,
happens
that,
in
and the
this
other.
country.
He could have had helicopters fly
responsible for
over it
January
and
the
tell
6th.
them,
So-
stop,
so
this is your
can I-
He's
president.
responsible
Can I-
for
so
Stop.
January the 6th.
So where are the
Alright.
Democrats in calling for all these ICE protests to be peaceful?
Ladies and gentlemen, our time is up for this week. We're way over. It was a very lively discussion and debate, and I'm sure it will be every week as the Trump administration continues. Okay? So, thank you very much, Adam. Jimmy, I wish you'd talk next time. Billy Murphy. Billy, I'd like you to get involved a little bit more so the whole show can be yours. And Sheila, Sheila was so silent today. Anyway, our ratings are terrific. Our viewership is great. And we want to thank you. We wish John Harbaugh, maybe by the end of next week,
Yeah.
he will have a job.
Yeah.
Okay. And maybe the Ravens will have a coach.
Well, we all wish John Harbaugh well.
Absolutely.
Correct.
He was
Yes,
a
we
jewel when he was here. He did credit to the reputation of this
He
city.
was. The
and-
only thing he did that I
Yes.
didn't like was go meet with President Trump, him and his brother.
Well, I told him that myself.
It's always about Trump. We got
Hey, and some
he's in Democrats' head.
Some
every
folks-
10
Yeah, well,
seconds.
you know, look.
their,
He does live in our heads. He lives in our bodies. He lives in our soul. He lives in the fabric of America that he's destroying. And it's pathetic that that we picked a man who wants to destroy this country
Billy.
as effectively as he's done so far.
You really got to get a hobby or a dog.
That proved my point. Thank you so much.
We will see you next
I got
time.
eyes. I can
When
see.
once again,
I got
we
ears. I can hear.
square off. Wave goodbye so you can
Thanks, everyone.
see you later. Bye, everybody.
All right.